Hello guys, welcome back to another Brawl Stars video. Today, I will be talking about Mythic Gear ideas for each brawler. I will be making separate parts to this, so there is more to come. Like the video and subscribe, if you wanna see more of this type of content. Anyways, let's jump right into the video. The first brawler I will be talking about is Jacky. Jacky is a tank brawler who is known for her bad range as it is just a circle and she is mostly sometimes a free super charge. But when she uses her super, it will drag in enemies. However, for example, if it was a Shelly which Jacky had supered, then the Jacky would be obviously dead. To counter this, I made a Mythic Gear for Jacky for when she uses her super, she will have a 75% shield for 1 second. This way, Jacky can survive a bit from counters like Primo. Anyways, the next brawler we will be talking about now is Gale. Gale is a chromatic brawler who is good for his uses to get rid of tanks like Brawl, and his super can push back enemies making him quite useful. However, Gale is outshined by other tank counters like B. This doesn't make Gale bad but makes his use rate drop, as there are better tank counters which do better job than Gale. The problem I have with Gale is that he doesn't really support his teammates a lot, and that's why I came up with a good idea to have this Mythic Gear. Introducing Gale's Mythic Gear. This Mythic Gear will able to boost the team's speed by 20% for a good 2 seconds with Gale's super. This would make the use of super not just push enemies but boost teammates. This would make use of Gale's super used more to help teammates, as currently it only really just pushes enemies, and teammates would like a helping hand during this. Next brawler is Gus. Gus is a very decent brawler, who actually is good as his damage, gadgets and star power provide so much use to his character. One problem I find with Gus is just his super. The shield is fine but the problem is the damage dealt to the shield and how much it decays. To counter this problem, I made a Mythic Gear to solve this issue. Introducing Gus Mythic Gear. This gear is used when Gus uses his super on himself or teammates. The shield will now be damaged less or decayed less by 20%. This would provide more survivability with Gus and his teammates, as it would take longer to kill Gus or his teammates with the shield on. The next brawler I would give a Mythic Gear to would be Rosa. Rosa is another tank brawler who is not as bad as Jacky, as her super provides her a shield which allows her to get damaged less by enemies. But with Rosa, she is just like another punching bag, as she is also quite a easy tank brawler to deal with. A character like Shelly, for example, can deal with Rosa with her clay pigeon gadget. So I decided to make Rosa a Mythic Gear, where, upon activating the super, the damage with her super is increased by 100. To help Rosa super out a lot. As combining this with the second star power of Rosa, she would be very powerful to fight and would make her return as a good tank. The second final brawler which I will be talking about is Otis. Otis is a chromatic brawler who is good for his super as he can provide silence aka mute, and his damage is actually very good to counter any tanky brawlers. But one problem I have with Otis is that when muting, enemies can have a chance to just run away and then the super is then wasted, which would really be annoying sometimes. So I invented this Mythic Gear for Otis. This Mythic Gear I made for Otis is that when using Otis super, the enemies will be muted but they be slowed down by 10% or 20%. This will help Otis to catch up to enemies when they are muted and gives him a fair chance against catching up to them. Final brawler which we will give a Mythic Gear in this part will be Stu. Stu is an amazing brawler who can chain his super, which really helps him kill enemies, and his ability to dash annoys the enemies as he can escape many situations. Stu, along with his super, has a fire effect which is left behind when Stu dashes and damages enemies who step on the fire. But the fire when Stu dashes is probably a bit weak when the opponent is close to death. So I decided to make a Mythic Gear for this. This Mythic Gear I made for Stu activates when Stu dashes, and then the fire will have 100 more damage from its power 11 damage, which deals 300. This is done so that the damage within the fire has potential and people could be using this to eventually do more damage to opponents.